Savage CBD strives to help people by offering top quality, lab-tested, natural CBD at affordable pricing. And it really is affordable. Whether you're new to CBD or have been using it for years, you can always count on all-natural, hemp-derived CBD with the purest ingredients. Savage CBD carefully tests each batch to ensure quality, consistency, taste, and authenticity. They pride themselves on their transparency and believe that you should know exactly what goes into your favorite CBD products. With Savage CBD, you can choose from a range of premium CBD lotions, creams, tinctures, gummies, and so much more. When you look at their website, there are thousands of happy customers who've reported incredible results after using CBD to supplement their daily routine. Overall, Savage CBD's goal is to create the products that empower you to maintain your balanced lifestyle. Whether you need some extra shut-eye at night or you need to find some more calm throughout your day, you can count on Savage CBD to help you reach that goal.
And guys, just for listening to this podcast, you can save 20% on your first purchase of CBD when you use our code BRAD20. So go ahead, my friends, start your CBD journey with Savage, and they'll be there to support you with every step of the way. Simply visit SavageCBD.com to redeem 20% off your first purchase of CBD by using code BRAD20 and see why thousands of people are using CBD. Now, Kelly, I've been a CBD user for a little while. I use it when I'm out on the disc golf course. It helps me relax. It's great with muscle aches and pains, and it's really kind of replaced ibuprofen for me. So anybody that's listening to this, guys, check out Savage CBD. We thank them for being a supporter of the Knoll Family Foundation, the Bradley's House podcast, and we hope you'll support them as well.
Hey, this is Ted from Pacifier, and you're listening to the Bradley's House podcast.
Nothing is impossible, but certain things are highly improbable. Don't think I'll meet your kind again, not in this lifetime.
Hey guys, welcome back, and thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of Bradley's House Podcasts. I am your co-host, Jarett Orr. She is our host and the executive director of the Knoll Family Foundation, Ms. Kelly Knoll. Kelly, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. You make me sound so official when you say Ms. Kelly Knoll. But thank you. It kind of makes me sound old too, but it's all good. We're good.
You are official.
And I am old. Is that where you were going with that?
Girl, you official as shit. You better stop. Already having a lot of fun. Of course you are. Of course you are. So I'm excited for another episode of Bradley's House Podcast. I feel bad because I say that all the time, but I genuinely am. Every single time we get an opportunity to sit down with another musician or someone from the industry or someone that could just share some fun stories for us and the listeners, I get excited. And you've done exactly that by setting up another amazing house guest for us, Kelly. Who are we hanging out with today?
Today we are super fortunate to have with us another artist from the house that Bradley built. And this one she's one of my favorite tracks on there. Just an amazing voice. And I'm so excited to finally get to talk with her and get to know her a little better with all of our listeners. We have singer-songwriter from Orlando, Florida, Leilani Wolfgramm. Leilani, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We are really, really happy to have you. And I really appreciate you being on the album and doing the podcast and the support for the Knoll Family Foundation. It just really means a lot. So thank you very much from my family.
My pleasure.
So tell me, your father is from Tonga, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, because for some reason, I just sort of always associated you with the Hawaiian reggae. And then when I was researching it and found out that you grew up in Florida, I was like, well, where did I get that idea from? So I'm assuming you get that a lot, that people assume you're Hawaiian?
Yeah. My name's Leilani too.
Right. That probably is a big part of it.
Yeah. So there's a small Polynesian community out in Orlando from the entertainment, like the dinner luau shows they have there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, my dad was a dancer at the Disney luau and my mom was a waitress, and that's how they met.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
So you come from a real entertainment focused family, right?
Absolutely, yeah. When I was, I think I was like 6 or 7 when I started dancing at the SeaWorld Dinner Luau show.
Oh my gosh. People must have loved that.
They did. I had really bad stage fright.
Did you?
Yeah,
How'd you overcome
I
it?
kind of hated it a little bit. I don't know if I've like ever really overcame it.
And you come from a big family, right? A lot of brothers?
Yeah, I have 4 brothers, no sisters.
How was that growing up with all brothers?
I guess it was awesome.
You don't sound convinced.
I don't have. You know what? I didn't. I felt like, probably I was missing a little something. Not having a sister, like I kind of like am more. My personality is more towards the masculine or the masculine side of things. But I don't know. I didn't really have anything to compare it to. So.
Right. Well, I grew up with one brother, and there were times that he felt like 4 brothers. So I can somewhat relate, but I think it's kind of nice too, because I don't know, you get an appreciation for, being more independent and doing things on your own, and so not such a bad deal. And they had a music group that you started performing with, right?
Yeah, my brothers, they started like a reggae rock band called Horizon. And when I was a lot younger, and it probably was like around 2002, and they were like kind of like, local, I call them like celebrities in my eyes. Like they were like local celebrities, and they would let me go and open for them as like a young kid, like on a school night. And I just thought it was the coolest thing, like going and opening for my brothers. And like I just grew up just kind of wanting to be like them, because like like I said, didn't have any sisters, so I just had my brothers to look up to. So I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and like I just thought, rock reggae, that I just want to sound like my brothers. So I just thought it was the coolest thing when later on when they asked me to be in the band.
Oh yeah,
Like, that was the best thing that ever happened to me.
So you must have overcome some of your stage fright at that point, right? If you wanted to be in the band.
I didn't have a lot to do. There was kind of like a, what is that, like a lifeline? But like I got in a lot of trouble. I was like really heavy into drugs. I was really heavy into heroin and then Roxy's, and I was arrested, and I was like on felony probation, and I was just, like lost my job, just lost a hold of my life. And my brother just came to me one day, and he's like, "Hey, sis, like come and just join our band." Like, they didn't really have a place for me. Like I was they kind of just threw me up there. So like, I could just like kind of stand there and play rhythm guitar and kind of like, fake, do some harmony vocals, but there was really no place for me other than they just wanted to like help me out.
Oh, well, that's sweet on their part. They just want to keep you out of trouble. Did it work?
It did. That was like the first time that I think I remember like that I wanted to do something more than get high, like really, really wanted to do something other than go and get high. And at that time we started touring. And so like, you can't go on tour and like not have a connect, cause you're going to get sick. So I just had to make a choice. Like, am I going to give this up for good? Like, and yeah, you could say like they saved my life.
Wow. So how old were you when you started using?
14 or 15.
Mm-hmm. And then how old were you when you started touring with your brothers?
24.
Wow.
25.
So was it just going on tour and that's how you kicked, or was there more to it?
Well, there was I got arrested, so I was on felony probation, but there's ways you can go, like.
Sure.
So I was still, like I didn't have any intention really in my head that I was really going to quit. It was more like there's some obstacles
Right.
that are in my way, but I can still get high, still trying to figure out a way.
Just made it a little harder.
Yeah. But I had quit. I had a period in time where I did quit for a little bit. Like when I was around 18.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I was doing really well, went to college, was clean. And then my dad died, and I didn't really know how to cope with that. I didn't really know. So I literally the day that my dad died, I went and caught right that day.
Yeah.
And I was,
oh gosh. I think that's pretty, I think that's pretty typical. Like most of us, we turn to substances for an escape, for a means to cope, for something to take us out of whatever place we're in right at that moment that's painful or difficult, or, that kind of stuff. But life is full of those things. So how have you learned how to cope with it now?
Well, I think before I didn't even realize when you're doing it, when you're in the middle of it, you're not really I wasn't evaluating myself. I wasn't even taking it that far. I wasn't even thinking to myself I'm using this to cope.
Right.
So I think actually doing the therapy and actually sorting myself out and talking through things. I remember for the longest time, and this might be because I was raised with all guys, but guys don't talk about their feelings. So I grew up I didn't talk about my feelings.
Yeah.
And that's something that I would hold it almost like a badge of honor. I don't talk about my feelings, so I must be okay. But really that's kind of been the key for me, is being honest with myself and actually talking about things that are having the hard conversations with people and with myself.
Absolutely. It is difficult, especially if you're not used to it. I happen to think that we should have therapy funds for our kids instead of college funds, because I don't know a single person that couldn't benefit from therapy, really.
Oh my God, I totally agree.
Right? Yeah, adolescence is so difficult in and of itself, but then when you throw in all the other pressures that we have in life and all the other shit going on, it's crazy that we expect people to become healthy, well-adjusted, quote unquote, normal adults without some assistance. I think
Absolutely.
It's a bit unrealistic, but that's a tough thing. That has been tough for me as well, to learn how to talk about my feelings and share them. And I admire your ability to do that with your songwriting, because you put yourself in a real place of vulnerability, and I think that's why people connect with your music so much. Did you have to learn that, or was that a bit more natural because of your musical background?
That was really I wouldn't even be able to talk to you how I'm talking to you right now.
Wow.
That the first thing I could do was write. I realized early on, I'm not very articulate. I can't express myself the way that I want. I can't piece the words together. But when I write a song, I can let it out. It somehow works. So that was my lifeline for the longest time. And actually through when I actually got on stage and actually sang them in front of people, that was just another building block. So the another way to heal, and then I could actually talk about it. So I feel like I've come a long way, being able to express myself. But yeah, originally music was the one thing that I was able to be vulnerable with.
I was reading the bio on your website, and whoever wrote that, I loved it. I kept I want to share that. I want to share that. And I'm I want to just read this whole bio. It was so great. But the thing that I liked the most, where it said that your songs are a musical autobiography. And I think that's when people really feel the music, when a songwriter is able to express what other people are feeling, because they're universal things. We might go through different stuff, but they're universal emotions and universal responses. And And so I think that's such a beautiful thing in your music, and some of the things that mentioned on your bio that you write about: childhood trauma, drug addiction, mental illness, familial loss, self-destruction. Like, these are all things that we all experience, but I think because of our culture, we try to hide them or pretend that everything's okay, or, as long as we look good on the outside, then, we must be okay on the inside, even though we're falling apart.
It's even harder being in like Polynesia or like Hawaiian, like that type of music, like the more islander music, or like image is very just like, like all smiles, sunshine,
right?
That aloha spirit, but
right.
So that was a lot. That was kind of hard for me to be like, okay, I have to like say what I'm feeling is true and not just go with kind of the flow of like what's working and what everybody's comfortable with.
Was it difficult for you at first when you were writing these songs that were so raw and so personal, knowing that your friends and family would be hearing this?
No, it felt good.
Good.
It felt good. I always feel like more at home when I'm like telling the truth.
Yeah.
I don't really think like it serves me to do any other thing. I'm not as happy when I'm just making some sort of like vibe stuff, even though that's cool too, but I feel like I found more like my voice and my purpose when I'm living my purpose when I'm saying the stuff that matters.
It's very empowering too, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. One of our board members, Wes Gear, has a foundation, or a nonprofit called Rock to Recovery, and they go into other treatment programs, and they just bring like a music program, like a weekly music program. And one of the things that they do is encourage people to write song lyrics, even people that aren't artists or musicians, but just, and it's incredible how cathartic it can be to just get that stuff out. And, we'll write things in song lyrics that we wouldn't necessarily say to somebody. And I don't know why that is. Something about, expressing through art seems to allow a much more, greater honesty.
Yeah. It's like, it feels like it's more like this kind of divine intervention that's happening.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I got to ask here, because I'm listening to this story, and your music, your voice is so distinct, so powerful. It's so much different than what a lot of the female voices you hear right now are. And I'm just wondering, you were playing in this band with all your brothers. In my head, like during practice in the garage, you just grabbed the microphone and jumped up front and just busted out that big, strong voice and just took over the song, and they just looked at each other and were like, fuck, man, we lost her. And you were off on your own. Like that's how it happened, right? It was, that had to be it, because I don't know. You're like, yeah, there was really nothing for me to do in my brother's band. And now you have millions of YouTube downloads and all these amazing collaborations and songs and shows that you've done. So what happened in between?
That's a good question. I grew up doing music. I was doing my own thing before I was in the band, but again, like drugs kind of pulled me away from that. Like around the same time I started using was when I was with an independent label, and I was doing my own solo thing, like singer-songwriter thing. And then, the drugs kind of just got a hold of me, and I kind of just lost sight of that. So my brothers weren't necessary. That wasn't like the first music project that I did, but it's what like jump started. Like it? Is that what you say, that jump started me back into it or whatever?
Totally. So was it your first album or second that was produced by Ian Young?
That was my second.
Okay, and that was Rebel, right?
Yeah.
So we had Ian on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he had mentioned that he'd worked with you. How was that experience?
That experience was really, really crazy. That was
Is it hard entrusting your music to somebody else to produce and create a sound that you already have a vision for?
yeah, like it all happened really fast. Like I was gigging at the time, like in Florida, and I had these residency at like a few bars like a week. And one of the bars that I was at, I was just playing like I would do like, you know, like top 40 shit there, and like I would like put in my originals here and there. And the he was a tour manager for a band that Ian was in. He just like happened to be off of tour and walked into the bar, and he like heard one of my songs, and he's like, I really want to help you. And he's the one that linked us up. And I probably flew to San Diego like that like within like a week or two. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, I did the album in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Did you
And
have all that stuff already written, or were you writing as you were working?
I had most of that stuff written. But I didn't necessarily have it. Like Ian Young has a very like he has his own personal style of production. Like you can tell, like that's an Ian Young produced song. You know, like he has his signature sound or whatever. So there I had songs, but they weren't in like that. They were executed in like Ian Young's way, if you will.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs on the album's called Empty, and it was actually like I written more of like a country.
Really?
Means sort of like more country ballad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then just to fit, you know, like to make the album like sound cohesive, like to fit it, like we executed it production wise in a different way.
I'm so glad you brought up Empty, because that song is so beautiful and so intense. But the video, oh my gosh, the concept and the execution, it's so, I don't know, just so perfect for the lyrics and the vibe and who came up with that?
I did. I conceptualize and like direct or co-direct all my videos.
Oh my goodness.
And I called up my best friend Jay. He's produced like all my music videos. And I was like, I have this idea. How fast can you guys come over? We'll do it in my apartment. And I was trying to explain it to him, and he's like, I don't get it. So I'm like, yeah, he just keeps like taking all these different pieces off of me.
Yeah.
And like it just stays on. Like I specifically wanted it to be one take, so there's no edit. And he didn't get it. And then they got there, and then he saw out the blocking, and like I blocked it out. And I had somebody come in and do hair and makeup, so I had this really like glammed up makeup on, and I have to take it off at the end. Yeah. So
yeah,
we knew we only had one take to do that, because we couldn't take it all off and then reapply it again. It would take like 2 more hours to redo it.
No, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So like the guy that was watching the monitor, I was like, listen, if it gets to a point, like watch the whole thing. If it gets to a point where like you feel like it messed up somewhere, like cut it.
Got to start over, yeah.
Once this thing gets taken off, like that's the video, like whether we like it or not. So I think we did like 2 passes at it, and he said no. He said cut, and then there was a 3rd pass that we got it.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm sitting there like blocking it out, like as we're going, like telling him, okay, this is the part you take this part, take the table off. And then yeah, we just went for it. It took about like 15 minutes to block it out, and then we did it. And yeah, I'm super happy that you liked it. I'm super happy that you got it.
It's really, really powerful. Really powerful. So you did it all in one take?
Yeah.
Wow. That's no pressure. Wow, that's amazing.
So talk to us a little bit about some of your musical influences, because when you're listening to your songs, you hear so much. And like I said, your voice is, it's amazing. And your track is one of my favorites on the house that Bradley built. And we'll get to that in a second. But who were some of the musicians that you were listening to that, you know, you would say influenced you in what you're doing now?
Obviously Sublime. Like that's the first band I probably ever remember hearing, because my brothers were obsessed with Sublime, and like just being the younger siblings, like you just listen to whatever your older brothers are listening to, and that's what my brother had playing throughout the house. And he had like these VHS of like live video that he would watch. And that's why they started the band. So that was obviously a huge inspiration for me. And I honestly, like, a lot of the bands and music that I got into was because of Sublime. Like,
Wow.
Bradley, like I would, oh, Grateful Dead does that song. Or, you know, like, I got into Peter Tosh because of, like, actually, like, roots reggae and stuff. It was, like, all
Nice.
stemmed from Sublime, you know? And then just his own writing was, like, what we were talking about before, like, being vulnerable and, like, singing about what you know. And even like, taking a cover and doing it your way. Like,
Right.
not doing some karaoke version of it. Do it your way. Make it sound like your own. And to, like, be inspired by a bunch of things, but don't copy them. And make, like, you know, to, like, totally create your own sound. Like, be original. All of those things were so inspiring to me. So Sublime, definitely number one.
Wow.
And I really got into Dashboard Confessional when I was, like, a preteen. Like, emo music. I was like, oh, this is poetry. This is like, you know, this is like sad punk songs. Like, I really
Yeah. It's true.
All right, so you appeared on the compilation album that Law Records helped put together for the Knoll Family Foundation, and you did New Realization. And when I listened to the song and it finished, the first thing I said to myself was, that's a nice couple of songs she just did right there. I think it's so cool how there's these little odes to Sublime throughout it. It's, you got that little bit of Ruka and that little bit of Freeway, and there's just so many different, like, in my head as I'm listening to it, I can, like, see, like, a backdropping, and it's like a whole new part of a song starting while you're still doing one continuous song. What an amazing concept. How do you come up with something like that? And congratulations on the execution.
Thank you. I just, you know, it's like, what would Bradley do?
Oh.
I just, you know, I was just so inspired by so many things. I just had, this is my chance to put in all the things that I want to put in.
That was
That's how I wanted
perfect.
to sound.
It came out great, and I was familiar with your music before that, but when I first heard your cover of New Realization, I was just like, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, it was just such a great reinterpretation of the song.
Thank you.
And yeah, and it was just so perfect with your voice. I mean, you have this amazing, beautiful, soulful voice that it just was such a great combination with the song and the style that you did it in. And yeah, it was really awesome. Thanks again for doing that.
It was seriously an honor. I think it's important to, you know, find songs that fit your voice.
Definitely.
That's something that some of my favorite artists, whenever they cover stuff or just like do their own thing, like just finding, you can be the greatest singer, but you, like, certain songs just have to match your voice the right way. And that one, it just felt right.
Yeah, it really was perfect. And especially when you have a very distinctive voice like you do, I think it I don't know, it just sort of amplifies the fact that, you know, a particular song is right in your wheelhouse. You know what I mean? Like, it feels very meant to be. I don't know how else to say it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's so awesome. She says, what would Brad have done? And so she just did whatever she wanted. And
Just what he wanted.
there's a famous video out there. I haven't seen it pop up in a while. I gotta try to find it. And it's just a sound clip. But Brad, Bud, and Eric were in a radio studio. They were doing an interview, and they went to a commercial. When they came back from the commercial, the DJ says, and this is Sublime playing their big hit Date Rape. And Brad turns around, and you hear him scream out, "Early Man." And they just bust into it. And And I was just like, yeah, that's whatever he feels like. And that's what they did. So yeah, I think it was a wonderful tribute and an amazing song. I'm sure that the majority of our listeners have already heard it. If you haven't, you've got to go check it out because it's just so well done.
Thank you.
It definitely was. I too love that you said that. It definitely was done in a way that I think was very Brad inspired.
Yeah, I figured we're doing an acoustic song, and like I love the acoustic albums, Sublime Acoustic, and he does a lot of like, medleys in
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
And so, like, I like paying homage to that a little bit too.
Definitely.
So every guest that we have on the podcast, I always ask them the same question. And obviously you're a big enough Sublime fan that you qualify. So if you just came across somebody and you guys were talking music and they had never heard of the band Sublime, but they were going to give you an opportunity to play one song, they'd give you one Sublime song to hook them or not. What song do you think best describes them and their sounds? What would you play for them?
Full Shark.
Yeah. It's and it shows because you guys are both writing songs. You do the same thing. You write songs about your life and the things that you went through. So I could see how that one would be. I could see how you could pick that one because it's a heavy one.
Leilani, let me ask you this. So you talked about the fact that going on tour with your brothers and, your legal troubles and all that sort of all contributed to your sobriety. What do you attribute your long-term success in recovery to?
Having the right people around me has been like, that's kind of number one. Like, that was a hard thing to accept and realize, like, you can't, you have to have the right people around you. Like, there would be so often, like, the people I grew up around, like, you just want to, you want to stick around them. I mean, they're your people.
Right.
But it's like, it wasn't contributing to, like, my well-being. You want just people around you that are going to support you, and they're going to call you out on your shit, and they're going to motivate you, and they're going to make you, like, you just naturally want to do better, and just people that, like, that just make you, like, just appreciate just being, like, chill. Like, not even, like, motivators or all that. They're just, like, I just like your vibe. I just like being around you. You make me just, like, feel more peaceful when I'm around you.
Definitely. I've heard that the opposite of addiction is connection. And I think it's so true, like having a connection to people that support what your goals are and support the way you want to live your life and the choices you want to make can make such a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Any challenges that you had during the pandemic besides the obvious not being able to play shows?
I mean, yeah, there's just like that, just stir crazy. Get into, like, it's really easy to go and, like, into, like, kind of black out into party mode when you have no excuse. I mean, like, you have, like, all the excuse in the world, I mean.
Right.
You have all the excuse in the world just to let it all hang out.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, and then, like, I would find it hard to get motivated. We were able to write a lot. We started working on, like, I think we have like 2-3 albums worth of music.
Wow.
But it was hard, and it remains hard to stay motivated.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been able to go back to playing shows yet?
We're starting to book now. I'm a little concerned that they're gonna, like, a month from now, they're gonna say they're gonna close, like, venues, like inside venues. So I'm a little nervous about that, but we are just going for it, and we're booking now for, what are we booking for? November? For November.
Awesome. Good. Well, hopefully we'll all get a chance to see you while you're out on the road. Thank you so much for doing the show with us. I really appreciate you taking the time. And again, thank you for being on the album. And thank you for being so honest with your music, because I think it helps those of us who don't have that outlet to really feel connected to other people. And that's such a powerful thing. So thank you.
And guys, if you haven't checked Leilani out yet, make sure you do. Where can everyone find you? This is an awesome opportunity to plug some social media pages, websites, anything that you got going on, t-shirt sales. Shoot it out there.
Playleilani.com. Pretty much everything is on playleilani.com, but I don't have a Twitter. I don't have a, but it's almost like I'm trying not to be found, huh? I'm on Facebook, I think. I don't really have somebody does that. YouTube, Leilani Wolfgramm, Spotify, Instagram, iTunes. You guys know all the stuff.
No, we totally get it. I will let you know, just this social media thing, I think it's here to stay. I don't think it's a fad. So, you should consider hopping in that game. But
I know. It's like, people are always like, the algorithm. I was like, I know the fucking algorithm, man. I know if I post this. I know if I post this many times a day. I know the hashtag. I know. It's hard when, like, sometimes you don't really believe it or not, some people don't really want to be famous, like, in that way. But I get what you're saying. It's kind of like, this is the way you market your music.
No, hey, listen, no, I'm just tossing it out there. If you don't like it, toss it back. That's fine.
I'm tossing it back, dude. I'm tossing it back. Get this.
Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us. Like I said, your track on the house that Bradley built, it's such an amazing tribute to the sound of the band. Like I said, you captured so much in there, and I really enjoyed it.
Thank you, guys. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, so to have an opportunity to have you come on and chat and share your story, I can't thank you enough, and I'm sure the listeners are really going to enjoy this one. Well, Kelly, we can go ahead and check off another guest from the incredible compilation album, The House That Bradley Built. Leilani joined us as she did on that compilation album that, of course, you guys can find at law-records.com. And it's always fun to chat with some of these new guests and especially people that donated their time for that amazing album.
Absolutely. It still blows my mind that we had 55 artists that wanted to be a part of it. And Leilani's got such an incredible voice. Her cover of New Realization was just fantastic. When I first heard it, my mind was blown. So it was really, really great to be able to talk with her and get to know her a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm not ashamed to admit that I wasn't overly familiar with her until I heard that cover on the compilation. And Kelly, for our listeners who maybe aren't overly familiar with her, do we have like her website? And I know there's some upcoming shows and...
Absolutely. In fact, her website is playleilani.com, and she's got her final show of her current tour in LA this Friday night, November 26th. So if you're in the Southern California area, definitely check that out. She's also got some new music that just came out the end of September. She's got a great new track called Bombs. So be sure to check that out as well. Lots of good stuff happening for Leilani.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you guys are listening to this, it is Wednesday. It is the day before Thanksgiving. Now, that's Thanksgiving for us. Kelly, Anna has no idea what the hell's going on Thursday over here in America. But for us, it is Thanksgiving, which means that the holiday season is amongst us. So you guys can go ahead and visit the KnollFamilyFoundation.org to pick up all of your holiday merchandise. You guys have music fans, Sublime fans. Go ahead and pick them up a pair of socks, a pin, T-shirts. Check out all of the merch. Or, of course, you can just go ahead and make a holiday donation. It's all right there at the KnollFamilyFoundation.org. Of course, we'll include a link tree. It'll be in the description. It'll be right down there in the bottom underneath, and you can click on that to get to all of the links on the ways that you can help to get Bradley's house up and open. But Kelly, I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too, Jarrett. I'm really excited about all the stuff we just got on the website, the new Merge Force socks with the Bradley's House logo. We've got some new pins from our artist series with Mark Welmera. So just a lot of great stuff. Hopefully people will check it out when they're doing their holiday shopping. And of course, also check out one of our sponsors, Savage CBD. We're so grateful for them. It's been a wonderful year and we have a lot to be thankful for. And so I hope you have a wonderful day with your family.
Yeah, well, kids are sick, noses are sniffling. I don't know. I might just lay low. Nobody's going to listen to this that would ever find out anyway. So I'll probably just make up a bunch of fake plans to a bunch of different people. So everybody thinks that I'm like doing something that you're supposed to be doing. And then I'll just hang out and watch YouTube on my phone all alone. So, that's like exactly what I want to do. So as long as I convince everybody that I'm doing something else, I'll be able to pull that one off. So
good luck with that. Yeah. People have a hard time understanding that people don't want to necessarily participate in the holidays, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. I hope your kids feel better soon.
Yeah, me too. That's the only thing. I might go check out the kids in the morning just so we can watch Santa Claus come on the Thanksgiving Day parade. And so my 4-year-old will be excited. My 8-year-old will think it's kind of cool. And then my 12-year-old, I just keep telling him that those who don't believe don't get presents on Christmas. So he will also grin and enjoy it as well. So looking forward to it. Yeah, and a happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners who will be celebrating. If not, just enjoy the day off and get ready for this holiday season. And like I said, for your holiday shopping, the KnowellFamilyFoundation.org. Make sure you keep us in mind. You can go ahead and check out the Bradley House group on Facebook or the Knoll Family Foundation pages on social media, and you can get hooked up through the Amazon Smile as well. I know a lot of us are going to be doing our shopping online through Amazon just by clicking that and connecting that to your account. It doesn't cost you anything, but a portion of a lot of your sales will get donated to the Knoll Family Foundation and helping get closer to get Bradley's house up and built. So just some neat ways that you can participate with the Knoll Family Foundation for your holiday shopping. So happy Thanksgiving to all of our listeners. Kelly, of course, we never leave without giving everybody something to listen to. It's obvious what we got. What's everyone going to hear as we're closing out today?
They're going to hear Leilani Wolfgramm's awesome cover of New Realization.
Guys, thank you so much. I'm Jarett Orr. She is Kelly Nowell. We are out of time. You don't have to go home, but it's time to leave Bradley's house.
Time has come to reach a new realization between me and you. Time to clear the room of sensation, things that just are not true. Well, I thought I heard you behind me with a knife straight from my back. It's quite clear that I'm back in the swing of living, although I might not be on the right track. Thought I might try, but it's hard to keep a good man down. Down's where you'll find me, through some ill-gotten hand. Although I never listen, girl, I damn well understand. Think I'm so damn feeble, can't see through your lies. You're just a crack of shit with a pretty smile, and I refuse to compromise. You're giving me such a heavy, heavy, heavy load. You, my hope, some vision of truth. Truth can be found in a lie. Maybe some great inspiration for a song that's deep inside. Tears are running down your face. You're screaming, look me in the eye. Well, I'm looking straight into your twisted face, and it's enough to make me cry. Passion for those who want to pay the price of loving you in more ways than one. Wrapped around your finger, but I think my time has come. I never can be too sure. I still like to have a little fun. Oh, fun. It would be to blow my mind and fall into the sun. A mind is a precious thing to taste. Good.